As the elections draw near, Nigerians wake up to different kinds of news from media houses and social media alike. How can the right and factual information be filtered and disseminated? The Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development goes round to direct journalists on the right path to fact check information gathered. The center trained journalists in the News Agency of Nigeria headquarters, Abuja, on information disorder and fact checking. Ms. Caroline Anipa, the center's deputy director, leads the fact checking team, Dubawa. She talks more on digital verification. How can one handle information?
Today we are here at the News Agency of Nigeria to train journalists on fact-checking and digital verification. We realize that with time, the media and information ecosystem is changing, and so it's important that journalists also are up to date, that they improve their skills, especially also considering the times that we are in. Nigeria heads to the elections on February 25, and we know that one of the issues that electorates and the general public has to deal with would be misinformation, false information about candidates, about promises, their campaign promises, about the election results. And so we need to build the capacity of the media, which will be interfacing directly with the general public, so that they, the media themselves, will be able to identify false information so that they don't end up being tools to convey false information to the public. Any one of us can become a fact checker, and it's very simple and it's very easy. But the first thing we want you to do when you see any information is to pause and breathe. Pause, breathe, reflect, and then verify, cross-check with other platforms. If you're in a group of, say, Party A lovers and you see any information there, please don't just act on it. Find out what is happening on another platform. Contact NAN, contact Dubawa fact-checking organizations before you take any action on election day or any other day. It's important that you always pause, reflect, and cross-check before sharing any information.
Another facilitator, Kemi Busari, speaks on the need for fact-checking.
Yeah, so we are very keen about misinformation and disinformation. And if you agree with me, it's a major issue that we are facing currently in the country. At Dubawa, we do a lot of fact checking. We do a lot of media and information literacy articles as well. But we realize that we can't be everywhere. We can't possibly fact check every false information that goes out. So one of the key ways that we try to help people have accurate information is capacity building, building the capacity of journalists at different communities at local level as well. So the training we are having here today is with the News Agency of Nigeria. We held a leg of it in Kano last week, and another leg in Port Harcourt 2 weeks ago. So basically what we are trying to do is to teach journalists the skills of fact-checking, the skills of media and information literacy articles, so that going into the election, they are able to verify any kind of information that they see, and they are able to help the electorate to get accurate information. So my message to Nigerians is that more than ever before, we need to be very critical of the kind of information we get. If your mom says that it's raining outside, please go to the window and check whether it's actually raining or not. So whatever information you get, try to identify a credible source where you can check whether that information is true or false. And if you can't confirm whether it is true, please don't share it.
Participants from the News Agency of Nigeria share their views on the training.
The workshop has been very, very interesting, and a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that we have received. The most important thing I learned from the workshop is the issue of verifying any kind of information that you get. Whatever information you get, you make sure you query the source, wherever the information is coming from. What is the source? Who is the person sending it? Then you have to always query the source, verify before sending. There are times whereby a lot of information, with the advent of social media, there are a lot of information highway going around. And I think it's very, very important for journalists and all Nigerians to always verify their sources, information sources before sending. It is very, very important. Even as journalists, there is something like a threat to the profession if the social media is now taking over the whole space, and we as journalists, we are duty bound to make sure that we verify all sources and make sure we churn out credible information.
This training has really been impactful. It's an eye-opening training. We've gotten to know what we can actually use the Google Fact Check Explorer to do. We could verify images, videos, and even press statements. Especially now that we are gearing towards the forthcoming election. Now we can verify things and we can debunk or denounce, disclaim certain statements that are not authentic and not mislead or misguide the public. So it's just an eye-opening training. We know how to change the narrative to ensure that our readers, the citizens, people who read our content are not misled by the things that we put out there in the public.
It's quite expository because there are a lot of things before now. I would say I don't know on fact checking. For instance, I learned today that you can as well make a call to fact check a story. You can as well go on the field to fact check a story. But before now, I thought for you to fact check, you only go on internet or make review past stories or inquire of past stories, through internet or whatever means. But I got to know today that you can also go on the field, on the spot of a particular incident to, verify about a story. The example he gave, a road construction by a state government, and a picture from another country was used to depict a road construction that has taken place in Nigeria. What that simply means that instead of waiting or verifying through the internet to know if actually this project took place, just go there on the field, check yourself, and find out if that has taken place. So there are a lot of dimensions to fact checking, and it's an interesting field.
This is hoping that the Nigerian media space is sanitized and only authentic information gets to the end users.